I got transported to ancient Egypt, and this place is filled to the brim with bandits, mummies, and these ghosts. I have 100 days to collect the artifacts of Atem from the pharaohs scattered around this world before I can come back home. Day 1, the first thing I needed to do was to look for food, but I noticed a bandit patrol right in front of me. I had to go the other way, and as I was chopping this deadwood tree, a little creature came out and attacked me. Once that was taken care of, I made a crafting table, killed another scarab, and made some wooden tools. Just as I was about to leave, a bandit patrol noticed me and started firing arrows. I ran away and started burrowing underground and mined some limestone. This is where I made a limestone pickaxe. Before I left this hole, I made a full set of limestone tools and found my first pyramid. Right now, there's no way to tackle this place. Instead, I found another structure where I looted the crates and got dirty coins, jewelry, and some of these emmer seeds. After eating the scraps I collected, I found an even larger structure and built up to it. This place was filled with crates, and each crate had tons of goodies. I found leather, coal, and even iron in here. There was also a spawner on the bottom floor and this bandit who had a giant sword. I managed to kill him, and while looting some more crates, I got tons of leather, coal, gold, iron, and I even managed to get a pair of iron boots. After filling my inventory with junk, there were way too many bandits around here, so I had to run away. I found a little hill, made some torches, and dug in, hoping to survive the night. With the iron I got, I managed to make a shield which would protect me from the incoming arrows. Day 2, I went down in the mines and realized I had 3 iron ingots which I turned into an iron pickaxe. Then I started digging down, grabbing everything I could, and I mostly found iron and coal, which was enough for me to make tons of torches and an iron chest plate. I then used the rest of the leather I had to make leggings and a helmet. Oh, and I also made a bucket. Then it was time to somehow get past the bandits that have been piling up right next to me. It definitely was not worth it fighting these guys right now, so I just ran even though some of the arrows were hitting me. Since I had no food, I had to kill every rabbit or quail I saw, and then I was looting some of these structures when I got hit by a bandit with a huge sword and it knocked me down to 3 hearts. Luckily, I was able to take this guy out, but I realized I needed to find a village or an oasis soon to have a good food source. After that, I found another giant structure where I picked up a Fortune 2 pickaxe and managed to already kill every single type of bandit. But now I was surrounded by them and I jumped and began running again. For the rest of this day, I dug another hole and set this place up to get more resources. I made torches, cleared some more space, and went down to the mines with my Fortune 2 pickaxe where I found a mine shaft. Day 3, in the mine shaft, I picked up a bunch of strings to make wool and I explored around trying to find some chests. I managed to get one chest and the loot wasn't too good. Thankfully, this Fortune 2 pickaxe is crazy and I picked up tons of coal and these fossil blocks which gave me dirty coins and jewelry. Oh, and of course, even more iron. I had to be careful using this Fortune 2 pickaxe since it was almost broken already. I then came back up to make some wool and smelt the iron. I realized the smartest thing to do is to make more iron pickaxes and only use the Fortune 2 on diamonds. I then explored around the caves underneath the mine shafts, collecting some more ores, and I found this weird creature. Now this guy was an absolute tank and it took a bunch of swings to take him out. All that exploring paid off though, since I found my first diamonds of this world. The Fortune 2 didn't help at all since I only got 2 from 2 veins. I then picked up some lapis, killed another stone golem, and found even more diamonds. This time luck was on my side and I have 10 diamonds in total now. So after collecting a few more new ores, like this Nebu ore, I decided to come back up to the base area. I spelted the Nebu ore, and then since I picked up this bucket of water, I used it to clean all the dirty coins and jewelry I had. Day 4, I grabbed everything that was important and ran off to go find civilization. After dodging tons of bandit patrols, I had 2 hearts left and had to start killing some of these camels for their meat. That night a sandstorm hit and I dug underground to wait it out. Once the sandstorm went away, I slaughtered a bunch more cows and had 7 raw camel meat. Day 5 to 7, I was filled up with food and more determined than ever to find a village or an oasis. Directly in front of me, I finally found what I needed. There were a few bandits here, and after I took them out, I explored the village and checked out some of these guys' trades. Then I actually got attacked by even more bandits, and I picked this alchemist's house to hide from them. Using the tiny hole on top of the door, I took out tons of bandits until I got this thing called Marked for Death. No clue what that means. Turns out that means assassins come after you, and these guys can poison you, open any doors, and they can climb everything. The next morning, I found another great pickaxe and put all of my random stuff in these crates. Then I made iron leggings and a diamond chest plate. To put these pickaxes to use, I started a mine right from this house. And then to save my fortune pickaxe, I started a strip mine and only used it for diamonds. Day 8, I did my first trade with a villager, but this idiot opened the door and let a bandit in. I accidentally hit the villager and I almost died. Then I spent the whole day mining and only got 3 diamonds. When I came back up, I had enough iron to make an anvil and combine the 2 iron pickaxes I had and repair them. Day 9 to 10, I spent the rest of these days strip mining because these bandits are no joke. They tear through iron armor. While I was down here, I picked up some obsidian, got a massive haul of iron, gold, coal, and redstone. Then after like 40 minutes, I finally found more diamonds. After a 15 diamond haul, I came back home and smelt everything and turned as many things into blocks as possible. With the diamonds, I made a diamond sword, diamond leggings, and diamond boots. Day 11 to 12, I gathered all of my valuables and went out again to look for a village with any source of food. I traveled through a heavy sandstorm, and above the hill I noticed another village. The best part is, this place had a farm, which was exactly what I needed. I harvested all of these things called emmer and replanted the seeds. Then a ton of bandits started attacking, so I found shelter in the red house. To make bread, I need to make this thing called a quern, so I placed all of my furnaces down and started smelting the limestone in my inventory. So this process is kind of complicated. You need to place down all these emmer ear things on the quern, and then you gotta start spinning it until you get this flour, and then you dip the flour into water, which then gives you dough, and then you can finally make bread. To speed up this process, I made an infinite water source behind the house so I could continually dip the flour in. For the rest of these days, I kept spinning the emmer and taking out these bandits all around the village until I had 40 pieces of bread. Day 13, I made another shield and I went to explore the surrounding areas. In front of me, there was another one of those huge structures. This place had tons of crates filled with coins, and more importantly, they have enchanted gear here sometimes. I got really lucky and picked up an Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 3, Mending Iron Shovel. After that, I took out tons of bandits and got marked for death again, which is terrifying, but I managed to take the assassins out, and I picked up an enchanted short bow. I also found an oasis, which is really cool because it's the perfect place to build next to. Then it started becoming dark, so I rushed home and made fertile soil, which I placed right next to my water source. Day 14 to 15, I got this camel to love me and placed a saddle on it. I didn't want it to die, so now it's right next to my house. Since I've been fighting bandits, I needed to make more bread, and once again, I grabbed all the items I needed from my chest and started to migrate near that oasis I found. I hopped on this camel to hopefully make a permanent home. After a quick nap, I made tons of limestone walls and started making a perimeter for the start of this base. Trust me, it's gonna get much bigger. I basically spent the entire day setting up 2 high walls since I was constantly attacked by bandits, but once nightfall came, the perimeter was mostly set up and I placed down my furnaces and chests. I then filled the corners and the middle of the wall with water underneath so all the fertile soil can spread, and I built fence gates to stop the bandits from coming in. With the essentials complete, I chopped down a bunch of palm trees for their saplings and placed tons more fertile soil around the base. Day 16, now that it was actually a lot safer, I expanded my entire base by 2 blocks on all sides except the front, and I started an emmer farm. Then after moving all of my chests and furnaces back, I needed these things called papyrus to be able to start making books. Lucky for me, the oasis in front of me had some, and I harvested and planted them on the opposite side of the emmer farm. To end this day off, I placed off more water in the base while trying to hide it so the fertile soil can spread even quicker. Day 17, I was wondering where all the bandits were since I usually would be swarmed, but once I looked down this hill I realized they've all been piling up right here. From the high ground I took out a bunch of these guys until I got hit into the hole from behind. I had to get out quickly and retreat back to my base before I got torn up. Later that night I went back to where the bandits had been piling up and I started letting the sand drop, which took out tons of them that had spawned right on top of each other. I just had to be careful not to fall in, and I actually managed to get rid of most of them. Day 18 to 20, there was a sandstorm and I was completely out of diamonds as well, so I spent these days going down to the mines. I honestly have no clue what happened to my Fortune 2 pickaxe. I'm pretty sure I either dropped it or I forgot it in a chest. I ended this trip with 5 diamonds and I collected the papyrus, which I turned into scrolls, and 3 scrolls are used to make 1 book, so I'm still a little bit away from making that enchantment table. I used the diamonds for a diamond helmet and I expanded the sides of the base again by a few more blocks to give more space to the farm. Then I chopped down all the palm trees near my base, turned it all into slabs, and then built a slanted roof to protect my bed area from being flooded by sand during sandstorms. Day 21 to day 22, I put fences on the edge of the roof and went back inside to replace some of the fertile soil with palm slabs. Then I was able to make 3 scrolls, and once I combined that with leather, I got a book. But before I was able to build the enchantment table, I chopped down a tree, slabbed up the entryway of the house, and then I made the enchantment table and planned out how to place all the bookshelves. The rest of these days, I spent gathering more food since I completely ran out, and I made these 2 extra crates to put on the camel. I also expanded the farm and made a composter to recycle all the extra seeds I had. After all of that, I was able to get 8 more bread, and I made a bunch more iron pickaxes to go on another mining trip. Day 23 to day 24, I went straight down to the mine since the enchantment table had used up basically all of my diamonds and I was in dire need since these bandits shred through your armor. While mining, I picked up tons of the other ore, but once again, the diamonds were super scarce, and I didn't have Fortune 2 anymore. Lucky for me, I stumbled into a pretty big vein of diamonds and I already ended up getting 6. A few moments later, I found this tomb filled with these desert blazes. I took them all out and broke their spawners and hoped that the main chest had some really good loot, but there was absolutely nothing. I took the bones because you can make bone meal out of them, and then this cave had no more diamonds, so I went back to the strip mine and grabbed every single thing that I left before I came into the cave. Once all of that was done, I came back to the base. I turned all those bones into bone blocks and then into bone meal because for some reason dusty bones don't turn directly into bone meal. I then used that all on my farm, and without harvest, I had a stack of seeds and 35 emmer ears. I used that stack of emmer seeds to make even more bone meal, but this was terribly inefficient. The rest of the night I spent spinning this stupid corn. Honestly, I wish there was a much easier way to make bread. While everything was smelting, I also expanded the papyrus farm. The rest of day 24 to day 27, I spent AFKing since I needed more paper and food to be able to take on the harder bosses. Day 28, I harvested all the crops, and still the papyrus wasn't nearly enough to make a bunch of bookshelves. I needed to find another way. All that AFKing only made one extra bookshelf. Remember that hole all those bandits used to pile up on? Turns out they still chill there, and I had a horde of them chasing after me. I used my expert running away skills to come back to my base and harvest my emmer farm. At least this farm was worth AFKing for. While I was here though, I made another diamond pickaxe and got on my camel to explore more. I tried looking for the entrance for one of these pyramids, but it was way too deep. I kept moving forward though and looted these watchtower structures which had a bunch of dirty coins and these cloth scraps. Then I found a pyramid map and decided to give this thing a look along the way. Along one of these towers, I got a flame book and somehow lost my camel. Then it was nighttime, so I got attacked by a bunch of monsters like these mummies, weird skeletons, and these weird looking ghosts. While running, I actually found the other pyramid and the entrance, which I only had one Nebu torch on hand, so I couldn't open it just yet. So on day 29 to 30, I found another giant structure in which I looted all the crates and found some decent loot, but more importantly, I got the extra Nebu torch to be able to unlock the pyramid. And when I did, this place was filled to the brim with mummies and ghosts, so I ran in quick, lit the place up a little, and then when I was backing out, I got attacked by bandits and marked for death. I still managed to break all the spawners inside at least. I really can't take on the Pharaoh just yet because my armor is almost broken and I have no food, so I ran back home. I picked up these ectoplasm which can be turned into slime balls, and that can be made into a lead, which means I won't lose my camels anymore. Then to stock up on food more, I bone mealed a bunch of my crops and harvested them, and I started spinning them 10 at a time. The next morning, I repaired a Protection 2 iron legging and equipped that since my diamond one almost broke. I also unlocked the pyramid right in front of my house, and again, the top floor was really easy to clear out. I also got these Frostwalker boots, which is going to be great for the desert. Then there was a pair of mending boots and a Protection 3 iron helmet, which I equipped. I then came back home, made a grindstone, and disenchanted some books to help with the bookshelf grind, and of course I spun for even more food. Day 31, I grabbed another sacrificial camel and went back to one of the village. I left some really good stuff in the chest which I grabbed, but the main goal was to actually stock up on food. I had tons of these gold coins, so I bought a stack of ember bread from the farmer over here. None of the other villagers had anything else to offer, so I came right back home to make a lead. Now I for sure won't lose my camel, I hope. I then explored pretty far. I got an enchanted golden date, which is like an enchanted golden apple. And if that wasn't insane luck, I also got a sharpness 3 mending greatsword, and this thing was crazy good. On day 32, I lost another camel, so I jacked a random one and tore apart another structure. This place had a full Fire Aspect 2 book, which was definitely going on the greatsword. I also found a relic bow, which says fully charged arrows fly straight, and I got wombo comboed by these bandits, so I had to run away from this pyramid that I was gonna try and take. I was able to hide in another village where I took all of their crops and sold it back to them, and I also found an efficiency 4 pickaxe. Day 33, I came back home, repaired the iron armor I was wearing, and put Fire Aspect 2 on my greatsword. After that, I made some more chests and an automatic composter. Once it was all operational, I put all the seeds into it. Then I went back into the pyramid in front of my base to challenge the Pharaoh. First, I wanted to clear out all the traps and loot whatever I can in the bottom floor, hoping to get some better armor pieces. Then on day 34, I remembered that I had some enchanted golden dates, so I grabbed those and dropped off a bunch of items and went right back to challenging the Pharaoh. Since you can't break the blocks until the Pharaoh is dead, I had to think outside of the box. I summoned the Pharaoh using the Nebu torches and ate the dates. Once the Pharaoh arrived, I immediately started placing water. This took a few tries, but I got it stuck right next to the door on the other side. Now that the Pharaoh can't really move, I was able to chip away at its health. And by being very careful of the mummies that spawned behind me. After I ate the second golden date, I started swinging wildly, and before I knew it, I took down my first Pharaoh and got a legendary item. There was also a protection 3 book in the sarcophagus, and getting out there was pretty easy now that you can break the pyramid blocks. Day 35 to day 36, I killed a ton of bandits around the base and collected these dirty coins. I then grabbed all of my coins that I had stored and went over to the other village hoping to get a book trade. I didn't find a book trade, but I found something better. I found actual bookshelves, and these are going to be huge help for me. I also tried to get a librarian and a cartographer, but these guys took their jobs but somehow didn't offer trades. So I stole their camel and made my way home to place these bookshelves. In total, I was able to make 11 more bookshelves, and my enchants are up to level 26 now. Day 37 to day 38, I enchanted my pickaxe and got silk touch, so I started enchanting this iron pickaxe instead until I saw the fortune enchantment. I got efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3, but no fortune on the diamond pickaxe. I did manage to get fortune 2 on the iron pickaxe though. So since my diamond arm was almost broken and I had barely any diamonds left, it was time to put this fortune 2 to use. I went down to the mines and picked a different direction and then got to work. I used the fortune pickaxe on anything that dropped XP because I wanted to enchant even more things, and then I stumbled into another mine shaft which was pretty deep, and I collected everything here and killed more of these stone guys. Once I cleared the mine shaft, I moved back to the strip mine and I started finding tons of diamonds. The haul was crazy. I got tons of lapis, iron, and diamonds. As soon as I got back to the base, I enchanted the chestplate, which now has protection 3. I also repaired it, and I repaired the rest of my armor pieces as well as disenchanting the old armor. Day 39 to 40, I needed more levels to enchant my equipment, so I started taking out these bandits and trying not to damage my armor a lot. After spending the entire day killing bandits, I got up to level 24, so I grabbed my coins and went over to the old village to grab more XP. Turns out this place also had a library. I was just super blind and I missed it. I couldn't find those farmers to trade with, but I did find some spawners and grinded out a ton more bandits and got up to level 28. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went to the wrong village because of the sandstorm, because this place did not have the farmers I needed. Eventually, I got up to level 30 and got some really terrible leggings. Then when I was out grinding more mobs, I found another relic sword in these crates, and this sword apparently gets stronger as you kill more mobs. So I slaughtered tons more mobs trying to level this sword up. I re-enchanted my leggings and got unbreaking 2, but I already had a protection 3 book, which I combined it with. Day 41, I made more golden dates to use against the Pharaoh, and I started stocking up on more food. Then I got up to level 31 and enchanted my diamond helmet, which again was an awful enchantment. I did get to enchant this new bow though, and it got power 4 and flame. Then that night, the new sword, Anubis' Wrath, was very close to leveling up. After I got 50 kills, it powered up and now it does 1 more attack damage. I also enchanted it and got smite 4, which means this sword is perfect for pharaohs. With all this new gear, I wanted to take out another pharaoh, so I grabbed my camel and headed off to find another pyramid. I found one that I already cleared the top floor of and made my way down to the bottom floor where I disarmed all the traps. I picked up a totem of undying, ate an enchanted golden date, and summoned this pharaoh. I thought I trapped this pharaoh too, but it ended up just looping around the other side and I had to fight this thing head on. I ran around the entire tomb, hitting the pharaoh and hoping it would get trapped until his health was low enough that I could use brute force to take it out. Once the pharaoh died, I got a sword called Nephthys' Blessing. It looked cool, but it's still weaker than all of my other swords. Then I fought the real boss, these stupid assassins, but I managed to make it out and come home with my armor barely hanging on. Day 43 to day 44, I used half of my levels to repair all of the armor, and then I enchanted this new sword, which is still worse than my old ones. That night I went right back to leveling up Anubis' Wrath, and I managed to get up to 150 kills, and the attack damage is actually pretty high now. Then I enchanted a bunch of books trying to get unbreaking enchantments, and I got unbreaking 2 on my chest plate and completely ran out of levels. So I found the local farmer and gave him all of my coins for bread and levels. Day 45 to day 46. While I was looking for more pyramids, I found another big structure, and one of the crates had another enchanted greatsword. I then followed a map that led to a pyramid and I cleared the first floor. I then jumped down to disable all the traps and summoned the pharaoh. Smite 4 and this new sword made this fight super easy. Also, the water trick is like the best thing ever. I was easily able to take out this pharaoh. It did take all of my golden dates though, and my reward was another bow, which wasn't even that good. Day 47 to day 48. Right after that, I went to find another pyramid, and there was one that was really close to this one. I also had this enchanted golden date just for emergencies. I made it down to the tomb again and summoned another pharaoh. Now this fight was really easy because I managed to trap the pharaoh right in the corner, and this sword did wonders. The drop was something I already had, but the sarcophagus had a protection 3 unbreaking 3 book. Oh, and I found this thing called Tefnit's Call, which was a trident. I think it's a tradition now to lose my camel, so I had to run back home. As soon as I got home, I combined the 2 great swords together to make make one insane sword. Day 49 to day 50, I repaired my Fortune 2 pickaxe because all of my armor is broken again, and I started a new mine to hopefully get tons more diamonds. I completely ransacked through the caves and picked up tons of ores. This time though, I got diamonds almost immediately. I also started collecting this gravel because flint is very hard to find. All in all, this mining trip gave me 47 diamonds, which will surely be enough. I also used all the flint to make tons of arrows just in case. Then I remade diamond armor and got really good enchants especially for the leggings and the chestplate. My helmet also had protection 4, and the next enchantments were for the boots. Day 51, I stocked up on bread, and more importantly, I needed to get to level 30 for the boots. So I slaughtered the bandits around the base. Then when I got to level 30, I put protection 4 on my boots and combined that with the Unbreaking 3 book. Next, I made a spinning wheel to hopefully make desert armor. But first, the spinning of the cloth scrap took forever, and it turns out that turning my diamond armor into diamond desert armor removes all the enchants I put onto it. Day 52 to day 53, the base was starting to feel cramped, so I removed the roof first and expanded the sides and back by 2 blocks to give even more space. Then I moved the farms, enchantment table, and the furnaces all the way to the corners. After that, I chopped down the trees to rebuild the roof, and I planted back even more saplings. Day 54, I grabbed even more food and started replacing some of the walls to match each other better. I then had a bunch of these kumites, so I used these blocks plus a face to summon this golem, and then I thought it would protect me from the bandits, but once I let this dude out, he was gone forever. Then I got another sacrificial camel and brought it into the base for future traveling. I also made tons of golden dates just in case. I spent the rest of this night repairing the shovel and preparing even more food. Day 55 to day 56. With all protection 3 and 4 gear, it was time to ruin all these pharaohs all around me. Turns out I did a real good job taking down the pyramids near me, but thankfully I found a map leading to another pyramid. I found the next victim and opened the doors up, and the top floor was obviously filled to the brim with mobs again, but I handled that pretty easily, and once I made it down to the bottom floor, I was more prepared than ever to take this pharaoh down. This time I didn't even need a water bucket to cheese it. I was able to take the fight straight to the pharaoh and destroy it. Of course, it's another bow and not a piece of Atem. Day 57 to day 59, I was marked for death, and these assassins are harder to fight than the pharaohs sometimes, but I just got back on my camel and dipped. I noticed another pyramid that night, so that was the next challenge. Once again, I got to the bottom and summoned the pharaoh. This time, the pharaoh did tons more knockback damage, and it was kind of really challenging. It wasn't a breeze like last time, and there were some moments where I had to run, but once I focused my attack, I was able to take this pharaoh out. And I'm pretty sure I've gotten this artifact like 3 times already. Then I came back home to repair my armor. I enchanted this new bow with power 4, and next I went over to the village to spend the coins I've been collecting, meaning I just bought a ton of bread. Also, I used up most of my gold to make the golden dates. I was fully prepared again to take on another pharaoh. So I summoned this bad boy and kept hitting it towards the corner. I only needed to heal once, but after I got some distance, I came back to put this pharaoh back to rest. My reward was finally something new, a new weapon, which turned out to not be that good. For the rest of these days, I killed tons of bandits because I wanted to enchant this pickaxe, and it ended up being really stacked. Day 60 to day 61, I went mining one more time with this new Fortune 3 pickaxe and another one that I just enchanted. After about a day of mining, I left the mines with a huge haul, 35 diamonds and tons of coal and lapis. Funniest thing is that I was looking for gold to make golden dates, and I barely got any from this mining trip. Day 62 to day 64, I made an extra bed which I put on the camel storage, so now I was fully ready to get the pieces of Atem. I summoned the first pharaoh of this expedition and absolutely demolished them. This pharaoh dropped a bow, which was not what I was looking for at all. Then the next pyramid I raided, I got an efficiency 4, unbreaking 3 mending axe. I then went to summon this pharaoh, and this time I had to retreat a little and take this fight a little bit slower. I finally got a new artifact, and this was a necklace that keeps your enchantments when you die, but it's hardcore, so I can't even benefit off of it. After that, I used another map to locate the next pyramid I wanted to raid, but this place was way too far away. Lucky for me, I found a pyramid pretty close and made my way to the bottom. I ate my last golden date and summoned this pharaoh. This time, it was an actual challenge. This pharaoh almost killed me and kept me at a distance, so I had to hide a bunch of times to heal. After gaining some health back and equipping a totem, I managed to kill this pharaoh while my totem popped. The reward was a sick axe, and now I need to recoup all the items I used up during the fight with the pharaohs. So I went back home. While I was here, I got this desert diamond armor, which I disenchanted and re-enchanted until it was perfect. I then enchanted the new axe I got, which ended up being pretty good. Then I spun these clothes scraps so I could make desert diamond armor instead of regular diamond armor, All I could do at this time was just turn the boots into the desert version. Day 65, I converted most of my armor into the desert version, and I used the iron armor until I could find the best enchantments for each piece. I managed to get protection 4 on the boots and spent this day killing a bunch of bandits for XP. I needed the ghost to spawn at night so I can grab more clothes scraps since I completely ran out. All that XP grinding allowed me to enchant the helmet. Now the only thing left was the leggings to be fully decked out. After grinding out more ghosts, I had 32 cloth scraps, which I spun until I had enough linen to make a set of desert leggings. I got protection 4 on the leggings and it was finally fully decked out. Day 66 to day 67, I made more golden dates and found another pyramid to take down. This pharaoh was actually tough again, and after hiding for a bit, I was able to kill it and achieve the first piece of Atem. This was a staff that would teleport me back to the spawn point. Back to back, I went to take out another pyramid, and after taking out this pharaoh, I got the same weapon I've gotten like 3 times. The gods have been mocking me. Day 68 to day 69, I found a village which had a librarian, so I stole their lectern and tried giving this job towards other villagers. I also realized the Atem staff doesn't teleport my camel with me. I then managed to trap this villager, but the mechanics are weird in this mod pack. Only some of them have trades. Even if they do take the job, for some reason sometimes you can't even roll it. The trades just stay the same. So if a villager doesn't have a mending trade, you'll never be able to re-roll for new books. Day 70 to day 71, that experiment didn't work out, so I took on another pyramid near the village, and this fight was very straightforward. I got the pharaoh stuck in the corner, and finally, after all this time, I got the Eyes of Atem, the first piece of the set. This one makes the sandstorm less painful, so it's got some great uses. Day 72 to day 77, these pyramids are getting farther and farther away, but I managed to find another one. After taking out this pharaoh, I got the second piece of Atem's armor, the body of Atem. Now this is supposed to give some extra damage reduction. 2 down, 2 left to go. I teleported back home, grabbed another camel, and then I enchanted Atem's helmet and got protection 4 and unbreaking 3. The chestplate got protection 3 and unbreaking 3. I set off on my camel again, and these Eyes of Atem reduced the sandstorm by a ton, making it way more visible now. Then after traveling some more, I found a sphinx structure. Inside was one of the things I've been needing this entire time, a mending book. I also got this thing called an Idol of Labor, which I have no idea what it's for. And then to end these days off, I fought another pharaoh. For some reason, this dude was regenerating health, and after I took him out, I picked up this thing called Isis's Healing, a necklace that regenerates my health. Day 78 to 81. After a few days of rummaging around pyramids, I fought a pharaoh which also had regeneration, but after taking it out, it dropped the leggings of Atem. The legs of Atem give you 50% resistance to knockback damage, which is going to be really useful against even more pharaohs. Also, the sarcophagus had a mending book waiting for me. In the last few structures alone, I found 2 mending books, plus the one from the Sphinx. So I teleported home, used the protection mending book on the new leggings, and then the last 2 mending books I put on the chestplate and the helmet. So finally, after all this time, I don't have to repair my armor manually. For some even more good news, I think the Anubis' Wrath sword is now fully leveled up. Day 82 to day 87, these huge journeys to find the last piece of Atem took super long. Since most of the pyramids near have already been taken down, I had to keep venturing further and further out. I ended up raiding only a few pyramids anyway, and to add insult to injury, this pharaoh dropped the Eyes of Atem, which I already have. The next pharaoh though dropped something new, just not what I needed at all. So I teleported home to find another direction to explore. Day 88 to day 93, again, for many days I explored around the desert and took out every pyramid I could find. But it all seemed hopeless until I stumbled into this one. While I got the summoning ritual ready, I hoped that this would be the final pyramid I ever have to take down. I summoned the pharaoh, and for the first time in a while they did a bunch of damage. But once I killed the pharaoh and picked up the loot, I got the last piece of Atem to complete the collection. The feet of Atem give 20% movement boost. I also got protection 4 on these boots and decked them out. Day 94 to day 97, I explored around the desert looking for more structures, trying to find some more mending books. I went back towards the other villages and I couldn't find anything, so I came back home. Day 98 to day 100, after conquering this entire dimension, I removed the entire papyrus farm and started smelting a bunch of limestone for limestone bricks. Then I made this thing called a scarab, and once I had all the materials set, I placed the limestone bricks around to make the portal that would take me back home. I dropped the scarab on the pool and watched the water transform into a different color. After getting one last night's rest, on day 100 it was time to go back to my dimension. If you made it this far, make sure you leave a like and check this video out right here.